Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Make Space for More podcast, where we talk strategies for growing and scaling your business in a way that's authentic and aligned for you. I'm your host, Melissa Swink, and in today's episode, I am very excited to be joined by a longtime client and real estate broker that we work with, Lisa Susen-Sullivan. I'm going to share a little bit more about Lisa formally in her bio in just a second here, but I'm super excited to have Lisa on the show today because she has been in the real estate business for an extended period of time. She's seen a lot of things over the years. She has been building a team. She, of course, has been leveraging all different types of tools to not only keep herself organized, but also to engage with her clients and promote the properties that she's helping people buy and sell and all the things. So we want to get into all of that. But then also, Lisa is a multi-passionate entrepreneur, like so many of us are, where we have kind of our main thing of what we do, but then there's also other business ideas that we have, or maybe there's some side businesses that we're running, in addition to kind of our main gig, if you will. So we're going to dive into all of those things today. But before we do, I want to formally introduce Lisa. Lisa Susen-Sullivan is the owner and broker of the Integrity Real Estate Team, a local independent agency in Wisconsin. She is also president of the Lakeshore Realtors Association, LRA, and the broker of choice for Stepping Stone Homes, Southwest Wisconsin's largest new home builder. Colleagues and clients alike have described her as enthusiastic, communicative, and responsive, with get the job done attitude and a great sense of humor. I can attest to all of those things. Lisa, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk with us today and share a little bit more about you and all the different things that you've done and have going on.
Yeah, thank you. I'm happy to be here today.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So before we dive into, your real estate career and also, additional businesses that you've got running and just all the things, how you keep it all straight and everything and keep things, running, moving forward, just why don't you tell us a little bit about you?
Sure. Well, I grew up in Stockville, Wisconsin. The brokerage does service southeast Wisconsin. Married for 30 some years. We always laugh, we're like, it's 30 plus. We don't do the math anymore.
Yes. That's like when somebody asks you how old you are and you're like, wait.
No, right? Like, what's important? Yeah.
Right.
But I have a daughter that lives in Colorado who's also an entrepreneur. She has her own landscaping business out there. She's 26. Yep. And then my son lives here in West Bend, Wisconsin, and just bought a house last year. So he's on the move. And my husband is newly retired. So it's a new home, working from home and being at home.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So a lot of life changes and things like that. So, so I'm from I would say the Milwaukee, West Bend, Stockville, Port Washington, Ozaukee County area, essentially.
Gotcha. Yeah. I was going to say, you've got a lot of life changes happening in the house. I mean, kids are, of course, becoming established adults and laying down roots with buying homes. And I had no idea that your daughter was an entrepreneur as well.
Yeah.
That's very cool.
Yeah. Very labor intensive job she has, but she loves it. So yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. Yes, exactly. If it's something that you're passionate about, that just makes all the difference for sure. And your customers feel that too.
Yeah. Oh, exactly. I laugh because my dad's like, oh, my daughter's the only daughter that asked for like tools for Christmas. He loves it. She wants a backpack blower and all that stuff.
Oh my gosh.
He's like, my grandboys don't even ask for that stuff. So she's a little tight with grandpa.
That's awesome. Oh my gosh. And then husband is retired too. So that's due to have him around the house and, you're working. And I know a friend of mine is in the same boat. So she's like, it's a total adjustment where kids are out of the house and now spouses are at home.
Mm-hmm. And I have sent my husband out to Colorado to help her. So that's kind of a cool thing too. He can go spend time with her, but it's free labor for her. So
Yes. A good way to kill two birds with one stone, right? Like we're going to help out and then we're also going to spend time, father-daughter time. So
exactly.
And then you have the house to yourself.
Exactly.
Yeah.
On this,
Is there anything in particular, like any fun things that you like to do when you've got the house to yourself? I'm just curious.
So I do like reading a lot, like just sitting on the deck and reading. we do like watching the Brewers and that kind of stuff. So a lot of it, and I really don't mind pulling weeds. Like that's my stressor reliever kind of thing. Like I'll just go out and pull weeds. Like, oh, no phone around me, no nothing, and just cleaning up the landscaping. So yeah, it's kind of just like, yeah, just chillaxing actually.
I like it. I
Yeah.
like it. And you mentioned like phone free, just like taking a break from the phone, working with your hands. Like, even though pulling weeds, it's not the most exciting thing in the world, but it can be meditative too.
Exactly. And the
You
outcome
know?
looks great. Your beds look better. So yeah,
Yes.
part of it.
You find that you also get a lot of ideas too when you just step away from technology and you're just working with your hands, or you're out reading a book on the deck, or just relaxing.
Yeah, I have a few aha moments, then when you
Yes.
have time to really sit and think
Mhm.
about things or take time to plan or, do a deep dive into something. Yeah, I'm like, oh, that makes sense. And I'm like, oh, I gotta go write it down. I gotta write it down in my
Yes.
so
Yes, I do that sometimes. I was just thinking about this when I've got stuff to do around the house. I think it's a 50-50 split. Sometimes I'll get out my Bluetooth speaker and I'll listen to music, or I'll listen to podcasts or something. And then sometimes I'm like, you know what? I just want some quiet. Like, especially if it's been a busy week and I could just feel my brain has just been buzzing all week, where I'm
yeah,
like, I just need the quiet.
yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you there.
Yes. Yes. I love that. So let's talk about real estate. When did you become a realtor? So kind of tell us about what that journey was like, how you got into the line of work that you're in.
Yeah, well, for about 15 years, I was in the shopping center industry. I went to school for marketing. I graduated from UW Whitewater marketing. I worked in shopping centers for most of my professional life. And then after the kids kind of got older in high school and stuff, I had worked like 35 minutes from my house. So I'm like, oh, I think it's time for a change, and tired of working weekends and holidays and stuff, as you know how retail is.
Yes.
So just decided to test the waters. And then there was a PR position that opened up in a local hospital here. So I took that for 2 years. Luckily, got out of retail before Amazon hit everything. So left that.
Good timing on your part there.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And then worked at the hospital about 2 years. And then they had consolidated. So then my position was eliminated. But then I was like, okay, I'm like, woohoo, I didn't really like it anyway. It was more.
Isn't that interesting how those blessings kind of happen for us sometimes, even though it's stressful in the moment?
Yeah. My husband's like, you're the only person I know that was happy to lose their job. Like, it was perfect. And it happened in July. So I took June, July, August, and September off because I got a nice severance package. And then I decided what I wanted to do when I grew up. So I had
Yeah.
always did commercial leasing at the malls, temporary tenant leasing. And then I had a colleague in West Bend that owned her own brokerage, and her husband left one of the bigger brokerages and had their own for 15 years prior, for the simple reason that they felt in the day the brokerage's uh, um, integrity. And so they started their own brokerage and had different philosophy and stuff like that, which really carried it through to today. I mean, the forethought back then. So I went into residential I got my residential real estate license, and then you have criteria to meet before you can get your broker's license in Wisconsin. So I met that criteria, and then they were ready to sell that arm of their business. So they sold it to me 10 years ago now or so. And then ever since then so I took over the name and everything like that. Well, part of the name had to change a little bit for liability reasons, but so continued on with that because they already had a name in the market kind of thing.
Sure.
So then after I purchased it, then brought on a couple of agents, some go and some stay and stuff like that. But now I feel we have a really good team of people that are collaborative. I always say we're collaborative, not cutthroat.
Yes.
We want what's best for everybody. We cheer for everybody. We don't, we always kind of tell our clients it's not about our pocketbook, it's about your pocketbook, So being a smaller brokerage, also, we can be pretty competitive commissions and different amenities and things like that we can offer. So, yeah, so that's how my journey kind of began to where I am today. So, and then during COVID, real estate was necessary. Industry, which is awesome. And as crazy as it is, the COVID years were my best years for business. Interest rates
Yes.
were low. I mean, we just wore masks to showings. We wiped everything down in people's houses,
Mhm.
like left them and stuff like that. It was just, it was crazy, crazy
Yes.
busy. And that's when I realized, oh my gosh, I need help here. I can't do this. So yeah.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
That's a good.
You're right.
Mhm.
COVID was very I mean, it was an interesting time in the world for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
For a variety of reasons, but you're right. Every realtor that I've spoken to has talked about, COVID just being the busiest time. It was almost like, why do you think that is? I'm just curious from your perspective. From my outside perspective, it's all of a sudden people were spending a whole lot of time at home and they're like, we need a bigger space. We need a home office. We need a playroom for the kids. Like, or this house is way too big for us at this point. I think it's time to look for something a little bit smaller, more manageable. Like, I think that being confined to your home really made you rethink your space.
Right. I think that led to a lot of it. I would say half of my business then was already looking and didn't stop looking per se.
Okay.
Um,
Sure.
and those are exactly those reasons. When you're
Mhm.
cooped up like that for that long, you realize I'm able to work from home 100% now. I need more space. And the rates were decent back then. I mean,
Yes.
they're totally decent back then.
Mhm.
Not the 2-3%, but they were still at 4% and still pretty
Yes.
low and stuff like that. And I mean, there wasn't enough inventory, and there was more existing homes. The new construction wasn't selling. Well, new construction that was already almost going to be completed, where those builders already bought materials for those homes. After COVID was done, we had the delay for everything, cabinets,
Yes.
houses, all
Mhm.
the stuff that builders get from Canada, especially the lumber,
Mhm.
build
Mhm.
houses. So it was really the existing homes were the be all end all. And we were short inventory. So that's when you had 10, 12 offers on one house. And,
Yes.
I'm telling people, you put through your best offer. I don't know why you didn't get it. I mean, there's 13 other people that didn't get it either.
Mhm.
I
Mhm.
mean,
Mhm.
there's
Yeah.
20 offers on one house. It's crazy,
Yes.
crazy. So
Yeah.
stressful, but crazy.
I do know a couple who bought their first home during COVID, and it was a very, like you say, very intense bidding war on these homes. And they did end up getting the house, but they wrote a letter and they were explaining, like, we're getting married this year. We're excited to have a family, and we plan on staying in this home forever. We grew up in this area, and they got the house. And so sometimes it didn't even come down to necessarily you providing like the top dollar, but
Mhm.
it also, if you had kind of that emotional tie as well, there were just, yeah, it
Yeah.
was just so interesting.
Yeah, it was a very fluid time, that's for sure.
Mhm.
I mean,
Mhm.
working until 3, 4 in the morning, I kid you not. I can't not know how many of us that were in small independent brokerages that were like, calls will be done, we'll return calls within 24 hours. Like we couldn't even return calls in a
Oh my
decent
gosh.
amount of time. But people were patient about it, so that was good.
Right.
They were
Yeah.
they got it kind of thing.
Yes.
So
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And I'm thinking too that we even have a team member. I remember that her husband camped out in front of a home at 4 o'clock in the morning to get in line for a showing because it was going on the market with all these people. Now, this was not in Wisconsin. This was another part of the country, but I'm like, this frenzy is coming back to my mind as soon as you mentioned COVID and real estate.
yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
And sometimes
Mhm.
at that time too, if I had buyers that kept losing out, I'm like, let's just take a week off. Like this
Yeah.
sucks. Because you need that little break. It gets
Yeah.
stressful for buyers
Yeah.
as well. So
Yep. Yep. That rejection stings, whether it be, putting an offer in on a home or not getting the job or not getting, the project that you've been on. Like it, yeah. Sometimes you just need to take a step back, take a breather for
right,
sure. Do you
exactly.
feel like sometimes in the real estate world, you're also like part therapist sometimes where you're just like, okay, talk people down off the ledge?
Yeah, kind of thing. And then I just laugh because some people share like way too much, and I'm like, oh, I don't need to.
Oh my God.
Like, okay, but some people might
Mhm.
be in a challenging position, with marriage, with family, with that kind of thing. So it's just being patient, that way as well. So yeah, totally. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting you mentioned that because I would imagine you do learn a lot about a person or a family based on what they're looking for and why. You're going to learn, about their families, their kids. Do they have an aging parent that might be moving in with them, or do they need, you're going to hear all the things. Or I know somebody right now who's looking for a home because she and her husband are empty nesters and they love classic cars. So they're looking for a new home with like a huge garage. You're going to learn stuff like that about people along the way.
Yes, totally.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. So you acquired your company from the previous owners, and then you certainly have been growing ever since. What was the first thing that you outsourced, or what is the first thing that you hired out where you're like, okay, I own this company now, or maybe even before you own the company, I should say, but you were, gaining success in real estate and you're like, I don't have time to do some of these things anymore. I'm just curious, what are some of the first things that you outsourced?
Well, the first thing that I did was I actually went to a remote office even before COVID to shore up some fixed expenses. I found even before that we were using Zoom even before COVID, doing things remotely or meeting at coffee shops or whatever. I would say a lot of my buyers and sellers at the time were very computer savvy. So I was lucky that way that we could just do a Zoom and then share documents and fill them in as we go and that kind of thing.
Yes.
So I got rid of that fixed expense, and then we started getting busy. The admin part of it, which is very important, but it's a time burner where I could be using my time elsewhere. So I hired a VA out of an international one out of the Philippines. So I had her for about a year, and things worked out fine. Basic things, not the didn't have the wherewithal to learn new things. I found just didn't have the
Gotcha.
gumption for it. And then she ended up doing her own business, so we had parted ways. And then through conversations with other vendors I use in Green Bay and stuff, your name had come up. So that's how I felt it was better using somebody from the USA versus another country with some differential things that might happen with language barriers and kind of stuff like that. So that's when I realized that, oh boy, and we started getting busy, that we needed help for general admin stuff. Like I said, which is important to do. Like that's probably what was keeping me up at 3 or 4 in the morning, that stuff.
Yes. Yes.
So when we started working with the VA from your company, then I think the hardest part was like, okay, what do I want her to do? Like, I'm doing so many things. I'm like, I'm going to take time to write out what I want her to do, because she's she's only going to be successful as much as I can give her this direction kind of thing.
Yeah.
So that was kind of funny in my own little office. Like, okay, I got to take 4 hours. I just got to write this down and what I want to shove off my plate. That way. And so it worked out really good because Marissa is just very smart, intuitive, not afraid to make calls to get more answers for me kind of thing. And then it just kind of, how many years have I been with you? I'm trying to think.
Oh my gosh. We should, I want to say 4.
Or yeah, it sounds right. Because her role has transitioned a lot.
I would say 3 or 4.
Doing more with the real estate and admin for real estate, not admin for the business, and then admin for real estate as far as documentation, flow, communication, internal contracts I need drafted, like that kind of stuff. So she's really meshed into that. And then I'm like, hey, how about doing social media?
Yes.
Who else you're working with? So, that was important. We kind of finding out what, because obviously I didn't have time to post. I'm showing houses, taking listings, that kind of thing. And she's better at it than me, essentially. So we searched out some different companies, that's some pre-populated things and rebranding as far as that goes. And then it meshed with our website relaunched and doing proofing and stuff like that. So I think a lot of it is I have the confidence in her to throw something at her, but always ask, do you have time for it? One, because I don't know her her workload. And then
Sure.
two, kind of evaluating, evaluating everything that we do. In fact, she helps me with QuickBooks as well. Like she sets my budget every year in
Yes.
QuickBooks and does all that. And I just currently asked her, I'm like, let's take a look at my expenses. You as an outsider, where do you think I could cut back? Where do you think it's not worth the money that we're spending right now? Kind of thing. So truly is, and she's also bringing things to the table that she learns from her discussions or other clients, or, hey, did you know about this? Or I just learned this, as far as that goes. So that was like, that was
Love it.
off my plate, like so much. It was just like, I'm not a micromanager. I'm just giving it to you. If we all make mistakes, no big deal. Things happen. That's part of the learning curve as well, too.
Yes.
So, anyway, that was literally the first, I would say, successful virtual assistant I had, where I feel very comfortable totally throwing stuff at her and just getting her opinion and stuff. So, and her mom is also a real estate agent. So
yes.
She's got a little.
Yes, I do know that. She does have family in real estate for sure. There are so many things that I want to unpack. So, one thing I wanted to acknowledge when you talk about, I'm up till like 3, 4 in the morning trying to get things done, because in your business and in all of us, our businesses, our organizations, there are key things that absolutely take priority. So for you, that is working directly with your clients, showing homes, putting in offers, and all of these things. And so then what happens is all this other stuff kind of gets put on the back burner, as it should, because you've got your priorities straight for, what you need to be doing. But the problem is then, weeks go by and we realize we haven't posted on social media. Or then all of a sudden we realize that all this admin work is piling up. So then we're staying up late. We're working evenings, we're pulling, Saturdays, trying to get all this other stuff caught up when we could be doing other things.
Exactly.
Like sleeping.
Exactly.
Or going to kids' activities, or catching a movie with a friend, or going out for brunch, with your spouse, like whatever that is, it all kind of spills over after a while. So having somebody else to help out with those things is huge.
Right. And I think part of it too, we have standards for record keeping for Wisconsin. So that kind of stuff is between her and the second thing I parceled out was a transaction coordinator. So she handles things from contract to close. So now there's communication between those two companies, the TC and the VA, that are married together now. With the VA, we kind of figured out the best way to streamline things so that she would know what's happening immediately without me sending an email. We can do it through real estate software. So
yes,
really important too is if I'm ever audited, I have my ducks in a row and things are
100%. And the other thing I want to highlight that you mentioned here is that you're also removing yourself from the middle of being that bottleneck for communication. Like I have my VA, I have my transaction coordinator. You two can talk. I do not need to be involved in everything. Like certainly bring me in if I'm needed, but otherwise you spend your time. Then when you work with multiple people, you create a situation where you're air traffic controller and everything goes through you. And that's a whole nother job in and of itself.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. I don't need that. I trust the people I have in place, kind of thing. And you have to. Like I can't. I also just do it myself and stay up till 4 a.m. if you're going to be meddling in their job.
And that's not. And I mean that's not sustainable. Like maybe it inevitably happens where sometimes we just get super busy. I have certainly spent, a Sunday afternoon kind of getting caught up from my email from the previous week. If it's been meeting intensive, I've chosen to do that. It doesn't happen often. That happens. But, when it's happening over and over and over again as a general rule, it's like, okay, maybe we're not just going to get caught up. One of these days I'm going to get caught up. I mean, we can only say it so many times.
Right. Well, sometimes I do, like when I need that time to do that, like sometimes I just do my auto office saying limited email availability for the next 2 days.
Yep.
People know that I'm not going to respond right away. And that's kind of like my me time to not be, not to have to keep looking at it. If it's an emergency, obviously they know where to go and that kind of thing. But I found that very Well, and I think it was 2 years ago, I started silencing my notifications on my phone. So I have no sound. I don't
Yes.
feel like Pavlov's dog and like ding, and then I'm looking at it kind of thing. So I literally turn it off. So now I look at it when I want to look at it. And that has been over long term a great thing.
I love that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I look at it when I want to look at it.
Yes. Otherwise, these things are just going off like crazy. And they're
Yep.
designed to be like that. They're designed to grab your attention. We know this.
Right. Exactly.
Mhm.
So that,
Mhm.
because they're like, didn't you get my text? I'm like, yeah, I did. I just didn't look at it at time.
Yes.
I mean, that's how it is. If it's an emergency, I figure they'll call. Like if it's
Yes.
really, truly an emergency. So
Yes, 100%. Okay, so I think I've shared this on the show. And granted, this does not work for everyone in every industry. And I would imagine this might not be applicable to you necessarily because you have so many interactions going all the time with clients and with, other brokers and just all the different people involved in a real estate transaction. But I actually have not had my work email on my phone since January of 2021.
oh, that's awesome.
I don't, because here's what I found is that I found that I would mindlessly check it, waiting in line at the grocery store or after I put my daughter to bed, and then I'd see stuff and then I'd be thinking about it. And I'm not in a place, like I'm not at my computer. I'm not like in a proper place that I can handle any of the things or to, tackle any of the things that are coming through. I'm like, why am I doing this?
Right. Exactly.
So I didn't put it on. And when I got a new phone, at that time. I've gotten, other phones since then. That's like several years ago now. I haven't put it back on. Now, certainly I can go in if I need to.
Yeah.
If I'm traveling and my team says, hey, you know what, we really need your help with this. I can kind of through the back end of things, get into my email if I need to, but it's just not sitting there on my phone.
Right. Exactly. That's a good idea too. Very good idea. Love that.
Yeah. But I could see like in your case, and maybe that doesn't apply to every industry where, you're on the go so much with showing homes and things where you're not like sitting at a desk for so many hours per day where that might not necessarily work for you. So if that's the case, then turning off those notifications is the next best step to be able to have kind of that interruption free or for you to have control over when you're checking this stuff.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
So those little things do make a difference for sure.
Huge.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I think we could have like a subject or kind of a secondary subject on this conversation has been like trying to give your brain space with the weeding and the no notifications and getting help from other people. Like this is how we get brain space.
Right. Exactly. Oh my gosh. Exactly. Totally. Yeah.
Yes, 100%. So speaking of brain space, I want to dive into, of course, real estate is your primary career, but you also have another company that you're running alongside your real estate ventures. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah. Well, Integrity, the people that I bought the real estate brokerage from also had a travel company and they held on to that. And they ended up selling it to a friend of mine about 3 years ago now. Since 2015, I started traveling to Europe or going across the pond every year. I just said my kids were older and I'm like, all right, I'm going to do this because I can walk, I can talk, I can see, I can hear. I can also do this. And people are always like, there's so much in the United States. I'm like, I know there is, but I'll save that for when I can't go over there. So that's my plan.
Or do both.
Can't do, well, hopefully I'll be able to do it till I'm 80, 85 years old or something. But unfortunately, you do get to see a lot for a really good dollar over there. So I've been traveling every year. And then when my friend took it over, she's like, you should look at doing group tours. I'm like, oh, I should do that because it would be fun because I have done some tours and some independent things. So 2 years ago, when she bought it, she put me on as an agent. Works the same way as real estate a little bit. You have to be under a brokerage of travel to be able to have access to all these perks and stuff like that. So, so we did our first trip in Morocco this year in January. We have the French Riviera coming up in October. Peru in February. And then we have working on Africa for next fall. So my goal would be to do 4 group tours a year. I have a great list of past customers that have come with me, fellow colleagues, friends, and family that have joined me. It's really been really fun because travel's fun. Everybody likes looking at pictures and what you can do and see and hear, and everybody's usually happy on vacation and stuff like that. Happy to do it. So that's like my stress reliever too, because I'm like, oh, where can I go? One of my things is every morning I go to Google Explorer or Kayak Explorer and I put in Chicago and I leave the destination open. I say travel within the next 6 months, and then it brings up the map of the world, and then it tells you what airfare is for that day. So you can get it and see all the flights and yada, yada. So it's kind of just like, oh, if I could go anywhere today and book something.
That is so fun.
Those are 2 great resources I'm telling everybody about if you're just not sure where you want to go or you just want to see what flights are for a particular location.
Where you can get a deal. Like, hey, I've got a long weekend coming up.
Right. So I actually used the site for Nice, France in October, and I was able to save more money there than going to the airline directly. So their contract with Google was better than going to the airline. So so my goal is to do 4 trips a year with friends, family, colleagues, past clients, and stuff like that. More cultural, experiential, I should say, that we're not sitting around on a beach. Like, I'm kind of done with those kind of vacations. Those are kind of great. But I do like a mix of culture, relaxation kind of thing. So I look for those kind of things. So I set up a website called lisathetravelist.com where we have our trips loaded up to. And then we have a separate social media page for it. And then my VA helps me with writing, doing the posts for that as well, and doing some blog writing for that as well. So that I thought is something I can do when I kind of semi-retire, but kind of get dabbling my feet in that realm. So that's really fun. It's my side hustle right now because real estate is busy. It's my primary, but I like doing it I like doing it as much as I like pulling weeds. Because it's just, the world is your oyster kind of thing. And it's just what interests people and things like that. So, yeah.
And if it's something that you're passionate about, people are drawn to that and they want to join you. They want to be part of it.
Yeah. Because I always say, I'm like, oh, we only want fun people on the trips. I always tell people something's going to go wrong. Something always goes wrong. Like my website is set up. So you have to be flexible, resilient, happy. We picked certain adjectives to describe what it's like to travel with me and, be able to switch gears quickly and stuff like that. Because nothing ever goes 100% the way it is, but that's just part of travel, probably for anywhere, anybody would go. So
yes, absolutely. And that's also part of I think going with the flow on vacation, where I feel like, especially for me and those of us who are more type A, where it's just we have our routines, we have things, everything's in their place. And then you go on vacation, it's kind of whatever happens. But in this case, though, in working, going on a trip with somebody like yourself or working with a travel agent, if something goes wrong, somebody else can handle it.
Right. Exactly.
And help you fix it, whatever it might be. You missed your flight or the connection or whatever. There's other people there who can help solve the problem.
Absolutely. And that's the way we set it up too. That way it has a backup resources for things like that. For sure.
Yeah.
So.
Yep. Absolutely. Absolutely. I love it because you've created that, you have this passion and you've also created the space in your life to be able to pursue it, even when real estate is busy.
Yeah, exactly. So I love it.
That's fantastic. Lisa, you have shared so many golden nuggets throughout, sharing your story and just kind of how you work and how you manage things behind the scenes. I want to give our audience an opportunity as well. You have a free home valuation that you offer. So can you share a little bit more about that? Maybe, is it restricted to a particular location? Are you able to assist, clients from anywhere? Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah. So if you go to Lisa, SULY.com, that will take you to HomeBot, which is you can put in your address and you can put in information about your home. So if the system doesn't recognize you have 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, you can go and edit it. It's very user friendly. But then every month you will get a report about your house. how it's trending within that market. It is for the whole country, so it doesn't matter. And by the way, I have my license in Florida also, so I am licensed in Florida and here. But the site is good for checking your home's value. But once you set it up, you get a report the first of each month. But you can go in, you can change your mortgage payoff. You can go in and see, hey, if I take a Mediterranean cruise with my equity of my home, is that a good idea?
Yes.
So I always say you swipe up, right, up and down. There's a lot of data information in there. And then if you feel that your home is like it's off, like you feel it's off for pricing in Wisconsin, you can email me directly and just say, hey, can I just do a manual comp for your house? And I can definitely do that. I can't do it for other states other than Florida because I'm not members of MLSs. But it's a good quick peek at your house, and then like I said, you get a report every month, so it works out really good.
Very cool.
I don't stalk you, I don't call you or anything.
Yes.
For your information.
I was gonna say, so purely for informational purposes. So whether you're thinking about selling your home or not, or looking at, like you say, hey, can I use the equity to do X, Y, or Z? It's just purely for your information, especially as people are looking at the year ahead and, thinking about, going on that trip or investing in that thing or moving, upgrading, downsizing, whatever that might look like. It's just information before they start having conversations with realtors.
Right. And I always tell people, don't be afraid to call me to do that work that you want done. It's okay. There's no obligation. There's no contract. There's no nothing like that. We pride ourselves on the free service to be like just a real estate resource for people.
100%.
Contractual.
Lisa, it has been delightful having you on the show. Thank you so much again for your time. I want to thank our audience as well. Thank you so much for tuning in to today's episode. There were so many great takeaways, action items, maybe stepping away from the electronics, doing some work with your hands to clear your head, get the ideas, monitor the notifications, look at where am I putting things on the back burner, and, when do I find that I'm having to get caught up on things? What are those things? All kinds of ideas for things that might be able to be outsourced, delegated. Lisa, you've shared so much with us. So I hope that our audience has taken away a few nuggets as well. Yeah. So again, thank you so much, everyone, for your support of the show. And I am looking forward to being back next week with another episode of Make Space for More. Have a wonderful day, everyone. Bye-bye.